This video will take you through the process of creating a patch pocket with a flap, commonly seen in button-down shirts. While this type of pocket can have different types of fasteners or no fastener, I'll be adding a snap. Let's get started. First, cut out your pattern pieces. The pocket will consist of two pieces, the pocket and the flap. Cut your fabric pieces. The amount depends on how many pockets you have and will be stated on your pattern. Also, I'm cutting mine in a contrasting fabric to my shirt pieces so it's easier to see, but you can do them in the same fabric as your shirt. If your pattern asks for fusible interfacing, make sure to cut it out and apply it to the wrong side of the fabric. Mine does, but for one of the two flap sections only. Make sure to transfer any pattern marks to your pieces. We'll work with the main pocket piece first. Looking at the wrong side, turn the top edge of the pocket 1/4 inch and press. Flip the pocket to the right side and take this same top edge, folding on the fold line indicated on the pattern. Pin this folded edge. Stitch along the seam line. For me, it's 5/8 of an inch on the sides and bottom of the pocket, sewing the folded section in place. On each side of the folded portion, trim the seam allowance. Then flip the folded section to the wrong side of the pocket and press. With the pocket wrong side up, fold the remaining raw edges over on the seam line. For any corners, you'll want to turn the corners first and then do the sides. Press in place. At the top of the pocket, stitch along the bottom folded edge. Pin your pocket right side up to your shirt piece, also right side up, matching the top of the pocket with the pocket placement marks on the shirt from the pattern. Stitch around the sides and bottom of the pocket, attaching it to the shirt front. First stitch close to the edge and then do another stitch about 1/8 of an inch away from that. The pocket will be secured by 2 rows of stitches. Pin the two flap pieces together right side to right side. Stitch on the seam line on all sides except for the longer straight side between the two dots. Clip off the corners and trim the seam allowance. Turn the flap right side out and press. On the unstitched side, baste across it 5/8 of an inch from the raw edge, stitching it closed. Stitch around the remaining sides using a regular length edge stitch. Take the flap to the shirt and match the marks with the placement marks on the shirt. The raw edge of the flap may overlap with the pocket piece, but that's okay. Pin it in place. Stitch on the flap's basting stitch, attaching it to the shirt, but don't stitch through the pocket. The flap stitch should be above it so we don't accidentally sew our pocket shut. Once the flap is stitched on, trim most of the raw edge off, getting close to your stitches. Fold over the flap top so it overlaps with the pocket and stitch along the top to hold it in place and it covers the raw edge underneath. Lastly, you can apply the fasteners, which can be done at the end of garment construction. In my case, I'll be using purl snaps. On your pattern piece, there should be a mark for fastener placement. Make sure these are accurate so your fastener lines up. The snap top part will be in 2 parts. The purl prong side and the socket side. On the right side of the flap at your mark, push the prongs through to the underside of the flap. Fit the socket over this. Then put a spool of thread over it and hit the spool with a hammer to lock the pieces together. Next, take pieces for the pocket portion of the snap, which is the stud and pronged socket. Put the pronged socket through the pocket at the mark from the backside to the front until the prongs are sticking up. Place a stud over it and then place a thread spool over the stud. Hit the spool with a hammer, locking those pieces into place, and then you're done. If you have another pocket, you'll just repeat these steps again and you'll end up with some professional looking pockets on your garment. Our book, Professor Pincushion's Beginner Guide to Sewing, Garment Making for Nervous Newbies, is now available to order. Go to professorpincushion.com/books or click on the link in the description to see a list of vendors where you can purchase it.